Hello, and welcome to the Cosmic Healing Podcast. This is the monthly bonus edition that we have with our dear precious friend Dana Whitby, where we dive into the month ahead, the forecast, the energetic forecast, the energy report of what to expect. And yeah, we're looking at September here. So, hello, Dana.
Hi, Vaughn. Yay, September. I can't believe we're rolling down the end of 2024.
I mean, I know we say this every single time, but for reals though, August I think was the fastest month of
Yeah,
the entire year.
I think so too.
I mean, and right before we press record, I was thinking like I have a lot of energy moving through my body, and I just feel like these conversations that we get to have together become more and more potent because the more we sink deeper into the year and into the energies of this year of 2024 specifically, which is an 8 year, which is a powerful year, which is the year of the dragon. And people are saying how 2025 is going to be so expansive and just like an incredible year. And so what I was thinking about earlier, because I have a lot of energy in my body right now, and I'm just like, wow, like I was thinking about it, like, where is this coming from? And I really feel like our bodies are just in preparation for what is coming, and that is the thing with everything that we're doing. I mean, we are in preparation for who knows what. So that's why it is so important that we continue to take those little soul nudges, because even though our human self does not comprehend and know, our soul does. Our soul knows what's going down. Our soul has direct contact with higher dimensions and knows what is happening in the future, and like what is coming our way, and is like, okay, we got to prepare you for this. We got to do this. It's just like when we have that soul guidance of when we turn right instead of left or something like that to avoid a wreck. Like our soul can see things that we cannot see. So it is so important that we trust that aspect of ourselves that is guiding us and leading us into a space that we don't know what's up.
I feel that so deeply. I have been thinking that to myself the last couple days too. So it's interesting that you say that. And I think maybe it's showing up differently for everyone, but for me, I am obsessed with purging things out of my house. I feel like I can't work, I can't focus on anything else. I am just going to Goodwill constantly and going through stuff and taking bags of trash. And I had this thought yesterday while I was working on our guest room, going through the linens. I was like, this is in preparation for something. I need less stuff in my house, less energy for something. It felt like preparation. So I feel you so deeply on what you're saying.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. And I posted in my stories yesterday just because and this really resonated with so many people already. How I feel like I am being bombarded with so much spiritual knowledge. It's like my mind is being blown and awakened to so much deeper truth. I know I've talked about this before, how, I feel like I'm going through I know I'm going through a deeper spiritual awakening. Like the first spiritual awakening, that was child's play compared to what I'm going through right now, this level of awakening. And it is all about God. It is all about opening up myself, my consciousness to receive this wisdom that is all around. And it is so much. It is so much to absorb. It is so much to comprehend for our little our little human brains, and so in that I feel so quiet, like I'm like taking it all in, I'm soaking it all in, I'm trying to comprehend it, I'm trying to integrate it. But in that doing so, it's like I don't even know what to say, like there's so much I want to say and share and teach, but it's like I literally am like, how like when your to-do list is too overwhelming, you don't know where to begin. And that's how I feel about spiritual teachings right now. There's so much I want to teach and talk about and share that I don't know where to begin. And so therefore I do nothing. And I'm just like, what?
Frozen. Yeah, frozen is the word that's coming to mind. It's
Yeah, yeah.
freezing.
So So thank God for this podcast and classes and, because yesterday in my, I think it's important that I share this, but yesterday in my, stories, I was like, so don't feel like, if you're feeling that way, like it's a lot and there's so much you want to share, don't feel like you have to share it from Instagram, like you're sharing it with your family, you're sharing it with yourself, you're sharing it at the grocery store, you're sharing it, in conversations with friends and families and, like in sidebar conversations on Instagram, maybe, but it doesn't mean you have to go out and like scream what you're discovering from the mountaintops, because then that can put pressure on you. And when we have that pressure, we usually buckle under pressure, and it makes us feel like we're not doing enough. And then that makes us feel shitty about ourselves. And I know I am speaking to someone very specifically right now, and I'm not exactly sure who, but I know that this is a message that you feel like you're supposed to be teaching and sharing from a higher perspective, like, because if you're listening to this podcast, like we're all light workers. We are here to spread more light and love and our energy. And when we put pressure on ourselves to perform, to share from a place of like pressure, then it just becomes not fun. And what we're doing right now, like what we're learning and exploring is so fun. It's so beautiful. It is nothing but love. And even when we are faced with the stuff that is outside of love, like that darkness, even not even within ourselves, but within the world, all the darkness in the world, like all of that is here to help us even navigate deeper through love so that we can be that way shower. So don't let the pressure get to you. Trust me, I mean, because I do have a platform. I do have people that I want to teach and share, but like even in our Facebook group, like I've been quiet for like 2 weeks. I'm like, but it's because I'm really just trying to integrate right now and just take the pressure off. Like people are still going to love me if I'm not in that group, I mean, people are going to still love me if I'm not in Instagram every day, like sharing something magnificent. Like what? Like,
Mhm.
let's just take the pressure off people.
Yeah, I love that because there's so many more ways to find connection than just through social media. That is not the only avenue. It's certainly not the most important avenue, So, yeah, I love that reframe and that perspective because I think especially those of us here who are like entrepreneurs, spiritual entrepreneurs, we feel that pressure to have that presence on social media. And that's not where the deepest stuff lives anyway. You know what I mean? It's the
Yeah.
little things.
Right. And with you saying that, that even makes you dive deeper into actual literal community,
Yeah.
that is in-person community. So if
Yep.
you desire to share you and your light, host a class, collect a coffee date gathering, like because that's really the way the world is going, is to more in-person community. I mean, I see it for myself personally, like that is where I am having these conversations that are
Right.
just so deep and profound and exciting. So I love that you said that. That is definitely a calling to call in more of in-person community, whatever that looks like for you.
Social media is where you find the people. It's where it's initially where you bring people kind of into your world in some ways. Like people find you there, but that's not where the deep, deep stuff
Yeah.
lives. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm so looking forward to seeing what we have on board for us today and for the month ahead.
Yeah, me too. So we are currently in Virgo season. Virgo gets a bad rap. And I think I said on the last month's podcast that I'm on like a personal mission to help people understand Virgo better because I think everyone's like, oh, Virgos are so bossy. They know everything, blah, blah, blah. And they do. Listen, my husband and my daughter are both Virgos. So I live with that energy every day. And they do think they know best sometimes. And usually that's because they do. So
Oh
there's
gosh, there goes those Virgos getting their feedback.
there they go again. But in terms of like energetic feeling of Virgo energy like we do during a season, you know, Virgo is like this duality in my mind. It's ruled by Mercury. So, yes, it has that like logical structure. You're going to feel this month maybe like you want to come up with a plan. You want to be really logical. You want to be really clear. You want to have some structure around the things that you're doing. But Virgo is the sign of the goddess. I mean, quite literally, it is a goddess in the constellation, you know? And so it is also the sign of being a healer. And so to me, Virgo represents the ability to take your divine downloads that you get and then create them in the human realm, right? Like give them a form, give them a structure, give them a foundation, a way to exist here on earth. So to me, Virgo represents this beautiful balance between our divinity and our humanity, you know, these beautiful divine messages that we get from above. And then how are you going to translate that into the human world? With Mercury being a component, Mercury ruling Virgo, it's like, how are you going to communicate that? And that's exactly what Vaughn was just saying, you know, that it doesn't have to be social media. Think outside the box, like get bigger with this and bolder about how you want to communicate these divine healing messages that you get. This is Virgo season, you know, is the divine interplay with the human structure. And then at the end of the month, we will move into Libra season for a little bit. And Libra to me, in terms of, again, the collective energetics, is integration and balance and looking at how these things show up in our actual relationships. To me, like there's nothing that we are doing on this earth that doesn't have to do with relationships. Like relationships are it. They are how we learn our lessons. They are our spiritual awakening. They are our growth. Like there's what are we doing on earth? If you lived completely alone, you would learn no lessons. You would have no spiritual, you know what I mean? Like our connections, our relationships are the most important thing in our spiritual experience. So I think we spend this Virgo season like bringing things to form and then figuring out how that translates into our relationships and our interpersonal experiences as humans. So that's kind of a little astro overview quickly.
Yeah. That, and of course you're cleaning out your closets, right? Like, because
Yeah.
Virgo is also the organizer and all that stuff. And yeah, I've been feeling that same way with my house on a smaller scale, but I'm taking it.
Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
working with, let the, as always with astrology, let the energy of the
Right.
astrology support you and guide you and like prepare you into what is next.
Absolutely. Yeah. Part of just sharing personally, part of what like prompted that is that we kind of like upgraded both of my kids' rooms. You know, my oldest is in middle school now. My youngest is kind of entering like older kid phase, and they both needed kind of less babyish rooms. And so it's like, okay, we're going to clear out an old version, a past version of this. We're getting rid of old toys that we don't play with, you know, things like that. Like, so I feel like I'm stepping into a different phase of motherhood too. So it's like, it's never just, oh, I'm cleaning my house, I'm getting rid of stuff. Like it always has a meaning. This is a different phase of life that I'm moving into. So yeah, it's interesting.
It is.
Okay. Should we see what the cards have to say for September?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. As long as you aren't driving, go ahead and close your eyes with us and let's all just take a nice deep grounding breath in through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Just feeling that golden light of protection that is surrounding all of us throughout all time and space. Asking now that any lower level energies, including thoughts, feelings, beliefs, or spirits, would be outside of this golden light of protection at this time. And we call in now our way showers, our guides and angels, ascended masters, benevolent ancestors and past loved ones, archangels, any beings who are of the highest vibration and with our purest intentions at heart are welcomed into this sacred space at this time. We come setting the intention to seek guidance for the month of September 2024. And our intention is to understand the energies that exist so that we can work with them, flow with them, Lean into them rather than struggle or fight or resist, so that we can move even closer to what is meant for us, closer to our soul's alignment, to honor ourselves more authentically and clearly as a collective within the community of this podcast. I also infuse this the whole entire episode with holy fire Reiki, so that in simply listening and hearing and receiving these words, you would feel an energetic cleanse and upgrade, removing resistance, dropping any fear, and making space for unconditional love, clarity, and authenticity to move into your body, heart, mind, and soul. We offer up our deepest gratitude at this time for those beings who are gathered here in our honor. And so it is.
So beautiful.
Hey, haven't seen these 3 cards in a while, so that's always fun when I'm like, oh, hey, old friends, haven't seen you guys in a little bit. So I was just talking about Libra season and relationships, right? And the first card that came up is my magic mirror card. So essentially, this card is about how everyone we know, everyone in our lives, is a mirror for us in some way, shape, or form. So we have been reading these word for word. And so I'm going to read this one to you now. So the keywords for Magic Mirror are self-assessment, relationships, and honesty. In a magic mirror, you are able to see not just your own image, but also the faces of people you know. This mirror shows the overlap of qualities that you share with others in your life, even those you may not want to admit. Mirrors exist all around you, manifested as your relationships with others. The Magic Mirror card suggests that you are attracted to both the beautiful qualities and the flaws in others because you contain them yourself. All the traits you admire in another person are strengths that you also possess. And likewise, all that you struggle to accept in another is yours to face too. You may not express these traits in the exact same way as others, but you do exhibit them in some capacity. So if a person annoys you or triggers you, be willing to examine how you also express that core trait. Conversely, you may be greatly inspired by someone in your life, and this is because you are being called to acknowledge that aspect of yourself as well. You have pulled the Magic Mirror card to remind you that the light and dark you witness in others also lives in you. You may be unwilling to see who you truly are and are choosing to feel jealousy, admiration, anger, or annoyance instead of working to heal. Spend time in meditation imagining that you are holding this magic mirror up to your face. Ask the mirror to illuminate both the areas of your greatness and areas that are still in need of alignment. Who are the people in your life that reflect these lessons to you? The more honest you are with yourself, the greater your growth will be. And the reminder for this card is you are a reflection of both the traits you admire and the traits that trigger you in others.
That really is the lesson. And, that is the lesson in life, right? I mean, it really is. To really be able to cultivate true, unconditional love within your existence, you must be able to love others unconditionally. But first, you have to learn to love yourself unconditionally, which is when that reflection comes upon you and you are triggered and you can sense that emotion or those feelings or, all that inner guidance that is saying, this is where we could attune to a little something different here, I mean, that's the invitation right there.
It is. This one can be a little hard to wrap your brain around. And
Hmm.
I'm just going to share this conversation I've had like with my mom about my parents. So my stepdad is a very intense person. Like he wants to do everything now, immediately and perfectly and like do. He's so masculine and like going, going, going. And my mom's like, "Oh my gosh, his intensity drives me nuts, but I'm not that way. Like I go with the flow. I'm relaxing and I'm like whatever. But around other people who are even more relaxed than she is, she's like, well, I want them to like go, go, go and like do the thing. So it's like we do express these things just differently. It's like my mom doesn't do it with the same intensity that my stepdad does, but she still does do it to other people in her way. And I mean, so it's like we have to like get down to the core of it. It's not that you are the same intensity as someone else or you express it the exact same way, but what is like the core thing? If you could drill down what they do that annoys the crap out of you, where does it come from? And how do you also express that to other people in some way, shape, or form? Again, not the exact same way. So this one can be a little tricky. And it's like, well, I'm not anything like that person who triggers me. I'm not like them at all. Well, be willing to dig into that a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
This is some
Yeah,
shadow
you're
work.
exactly right. It is hard to wrap your head around it, to like really go in there. And I used to always hate the word trigger. I just like it felt like just such a buzzword, and I didn't really fully understand what it even meant. And I was just like, what is this trigger word? It just like all of a sudden came out of nowhere in the spiritual community. And I just didn't like it. And then I wonder why I didn't like it. Plot twist. And so once I understood the meaning of what that actually is, the more I could be like, oh shit. All right, well then I need to go deeper within and truly understand like what this is triggering within me
Yeah.
that is making me feel in this negative way. But and there's also a positive trigger, right? Like,
Yes.
I can be like, oh my gosh, she just triggered so much within me or whatever, like in a positive way. But usually it is associated more with that like negative connotation. But it really is it's a gift. It is an invitation to explore. And when we can allow ourselves the space to go there and the grace to explore it, that's when it is all revealed to us.
Exactly. And, this was a hard card for me to write, like as a writer, as an author. This was a difficult one to get the message across because it is both sides of the coin. Like you said, it is a challenge. It is the people who upset you, the people who make you feel some type of negative way. But like you said, it is also the people who truly inspire you, where you think, well, I could never be like that, or they're doing so much more than I am, and like they're better at that than me. No, you are inspired by them because a part of them lives in you. What they're doing is possible for you.
Yeah.
So this is both ends of the spectrum, you
Oh
know?
my gosh. Yeah. When I first and it was early on in my journey where because I was being triggered big time by women that were doing what I wanted to be doing. And I
Mm.
was so pissed because I did not like them. I was like, eh. But it was only because within me, they were reflecting back to me what was within
Yeah.
me that I respected and admired and wanted within them. And so once I understood that perspective shift around like jealousy and just triggering and witnessing and mirroring, then I could be like, oh, okay, so now I look at her as a champion, as a leader, as a mentor, and I think I've spoken of this before. Like I know that people will come and they'll be like, you trigger me so bad. And I'm like I love that. I love it because I'm like I'm nothing but like a little ball of joy over here. Like, how could I possibly trigger anybody? But I know this because I'm standing in my truth. How dare I be so bold and brave to stand in my truth, in my gifts, in my glory, and not be ashamed or embarrassed of it? How dare I? And so that is the part that I know I trigger within some women. And I'm so proud of myself for being that to to women that are ready to have that ignited within their own self, So I really love that. I have, and I still do. Oh my gosh. Like I can think of a handful of women that, trigger me and I'm just like, but it's just because I want it. I want to be there. I want to be doing what she's doing on that platform, on that level. And so I allow the triggers in and it just motivates me even more.
I heard a couple of years ago this, and I think I saw it on social media, which is interesting. On social media, talking about like jealousy and like just that exact feeling of being triggered by someone else. And when you recognize that within yourself, saying to the universe, I claim that for myself as well. So like flipping that and being like, okay, she's
Yeah.
further along on the path. She's doing more than I am currently right now. That's okay. But I claim that same success for myself, whatever
Yeah.
it is, more social media followers, having a speaking gig or,
Right.
writing a book, whatever it is, like I
Yeah.
claim that for myself too.
Yeah. And just knowing that if it is available to her, it is available to you too. That means it exists.
Exactly.
It exists and it is available. And to make it even more, make it like don't do what she's doing, do what you're doing, just freaking do it, like that's another thing I have to keep saying, well, but I'm not her, like
Right.
I'm not that girl, I am me, so how can I go out and do it my way? How can I express myself in that authority or in that bigness or that, because that's really what we're drawn to, right, is like the freedom that girl is expressing and allowing herself to be is what I truly want for myself. It's not that we want to be doing what she's doing or healing in the way that she's healing or speaking in the way that she's speaking. We just want that same confidence and brevity to do it for ourselves.
Right. It's not copying. It's just that you want that similar outcome or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, that
Yeah.
freedom. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. Okay, and then the next card that came up is Chiron. And for all our Chiron and Aries Chiron return people, I know no one's happy to see this
I
one.
have no comment. No comment. I'm just kidding. I actually love Chiron.
I know.
Chiron has been very, very brutal to me over these years, and I'm very grateful to Chiron. So thank you. What else you got for me?
Chiron is a trigger in and of itself, so let's just state that. Like it triggers you to heal and to acknowledge wounds. And I'm really curious, we'll have to ask Barbara Alexander in the Facebook group if there's any like particular Chiron transits this month or anything. Because sometimes when we pull the planet cards and then we post about it in the Facebook group, she comments and she's like last month we pulled Jupiter and she was like, there's a ton of Jupiter transits in August. So I'm curious. I don't know. I haven't looked this up. But what I want to remind everyone is that the core of the way that you heal your Chiron wound is through helping other people who are going through the same thing. It's not just the inner work. So again, we're going back to relationships here. Like this is not something you just heal within yourself. Chiron wound is healed when you reach out, when you go out into your community and you find a woman who is not as far along on the path that you have walked. And you tell her, this is what helped me, and you show her or whatever. It's taking her in and giving her a warm hug, or a man. I'm just using a woman. I don't know why, but like you help someone who's walking a similar path that you've already walked, and you share your wisdom, you share your knowledge, you share what worked for you. It may not work for them, but the point is that you are putting out there to someone else. So there are certain wounds that, yes, we need to heal within ourselves or whatever, that are just kind of an internal thing. Chiron is not that. Chiron is a wound that needs to be healed in community and in relationships. And so I feel like it actually goes really nicely with this magic mirror card of like, who is stirring things up inside of me, that I need to work on healing some of that with, and reaching out and helping another person in some way.
Wow. Yeah, that's a beautiful connection there with those two cards for sure.
It is. It's very
Mm.
just so relationship focused,
Yeah, and community.
community
Yep.
focused. Yeah,
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, as with the other planet cards that we've pulled in the past, there is a personal message for you based on your Chiron placement to focus on, to think about, to witness, to notice in September. So, in the show notes below, I will put the little Chiron, I hate to call it a horoscope, but like, I don't know what to call it. It's not a horoscope. Message for each placement. I will put that in the show notes below so that you can look yours up.
Yeah.
And last month we talked about Jupiter. We had like a post in the Facebook group. And so we'll do that again with the Chiron stuff and we'll
Yeah.
see how that
Yeah.
comes out.
Like, for example, my Chiron is in Aries. So I would look under the Aries thingy to get that guidance for exactly how I'm being pressed.
Exactly. And
Okay.
I'll put little notes on how you can find out what your Chiron placement is if you don't know.
Okay.
Okay. And then all three of
Um,
these are just so interesting and so beautiful with one another. This is the Nautilus card. I freaking love this card. And like I said, I haven't seen this one in a really long time. This is one of the first that I wrote, and I'm going to read it to you. But first I have to find it. Hang on one second.
it's such a spiritual card to me. Like, it just looks so deep.
Such a spiritual, like, oh, I just have chills whenever I get this one because oh, I just love this message. Okay, so let me read it to you. The keywords are inspired action, evolution, and spiral path. The Nautilus lives deep in the sea inside a shell that forms a spiral pattern during the growth process. As the Nautilus becomes larger, it moves into a new chamber within its shell, then seals the one previously used. This creature is a cephalopod that has lived on Earth for over 500 million years. When the Nautilus appears, you are being called to take inspired action based on the sum of your experiences in life. Just as the Nautilus continually moves into new chambers, you are also constantly becoming a new being in the eternal process of evolution. This process is causing old habits and situations to spiral back around, which are in need of addressing again. This message might cause frustration as you may feel that you have already worked on a particular area of your life, or you might have previously let go of something that is again coming to the surface. With each pass along your spiral path, you gain more insight, wisdom, clarity, and maturity. And each time you face the same old issue in a new way, you are given the chance to not only try again, but to use a higher perspective gained by your past experience. It is an honor to reach a new level of growth. Call upon the wisdom that you've acquired to inform choices that will approach a familiar problem in a new way. Reach deeply inside of you to make a choice that is aligned with this new version of you. If you can find acceptance for the spiral-shaped path of healing that you are on, the process will become infinitely easier. Confidently let go of what no longer serves you, even if you've done it many times before. Make a wisely inspired decision and trust that you are ready to move into the next chamber of your life. And the reminder is, like the Nautilus, you grow in wisdom with each release and inspired action.
Ooh, wee. There is so much to unpack there.
A lot.
From this whole conversation and from the cards that you've pulled, like that, as you were talking, it takes me back to the beginning of our conversation about this second wave of awakening that we are experiencing, this deeper evolution of our souls that is truly beginning to really understand what life is, like that's basically what we're being called into, is to explore like deeper, what is life? What is our soul? Why are we here? You know, who is God and who created us, and like who is Jesus, and like just everything is just like, what aliens, are they real, and are they coming, and what role do they play in our existence, and like all this stuff that is just like, we're so awakening to things that we've never really gone that deep before. And so we're going deep, 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 deep. And that's what that card is we are going deep into spiritual wisdom and knowledge and Gnosticism. And it's just this, like, our mind is literally being blown. And so to be able to allow ourselves to just go deep and learn and explore with an open heart, and as people will be coming at us with a whole lot of different opinions and perspectives, like, we get to discern what is our truth. I know for me, like, as I'm speaking more, openly, I have religious people, challenge me, like, question me and who I am and what I'm doing. And so those are triggers for me, right? Like that. And I'm a trigger for them because they do not like me and who I am and what I'm doing. They think I am wrong. They think I'm working with the devil. Like, straight up, people will share this information with me and they're worried for my soul. Like, these are conversations I'm having, like, in the past couple of weeks. So please know that but when I have these conversations, at this point anymore, they don't even trigger me because I've worked through those triggers, because now I have learned to fully accept and love my relationship with my faith and with my spirituality, and the fact that I'm just exploring, I'm just learning, because everything I was taught to believe my entire life, I'm learning actually is not true. And so I'm just learning and I'm exploring, and I'm not acting like I have it figured out by any means. In fact, I'm just beginning to crack the egg. I know nothing. The only thing I know is that I know nothing.
Right.
And so this card is just so solidifying for what we are really truly going through right now. We are going through a deep, deep, deep awakening. And people will come at us, and make us question ourselves and make us question our faith and what we believe and who we are and our gifts. And they will make us question, but it's just an invitation to explore what's really, really true inside.
Exactly. This card is about deep wisdom. I mean, I left the part in about how old the Nautilus is because this card represents like ancient wisdom, and you learn these things. And as you learn more wisdom, as you take more wisdom into your body, things will come up in your life that ask you, do you really believe these things? Do you really believe it? And so things can come up, like when this card shows up, it's like you can feel like, God, I thought I dealt with this already. Like I thought I handled this already. Why is this coming back up? Like I thought I healed this. I thought I broke that cycle. I thought I did that. And you broke it in one sense, but you have now gained so much more wisdom, so much more ancient knowledge that now you're being asked to break it on a deeper level. There is no end to how deep and how far we can go. Like we can't even fathom it. So anything you think you have healed or completely like done, just know that as you level up, you're going to be asked to go deeper with it. You're going to be asked to go deeper.
Yeah. And that is 100% where we are. It's where
Yeah.
I am. I know it. I mean, we're all.
Yeah. In different ways, we're all there,
Mhm. Yeah, no matter where you are, we're there.
We're
We are
there.
being called to higher learning and deep and exploring deeper ancient wisdom within that
Yeah.
exists within our body. Like, all of this wisdom, all of this knowledge is coded within. And that is why, like, doing the work, that's why I'm so passionate about our breath work, the holy breath method, which is really just taking you inside of yourself so that you can remember and awaken and explore all of that ancient wisdom that exists within you. Because you're not going to experience it just like walking around day to day doing your chores, like, it takes intentional going within and exploration.
Mhm.
It takes dedication and time and curiosity and surrender.
Exactly. And that's why I called it a spiral. And that's why I chose the Nautilus to represent this message, because you keep going around, you keep going around. But a spiral isn't a circle. Like, you're not going around a circle. When you spiral, you're going up or you're going down. You know what I mean? Like, you're moving in another direction. And so it's this representation that, yeah, you're back where you were before, but you're also a little bit higher. You have more perspective, you have more knowledge, you have more awareness, right?
Yeah. And then we'll go back
Go
down.
back down, and then we'll go back up, and then
And
we'll
then we'll go back up even
go.
higher. And we'll
Yeah,
go back down even deeper and we'll come back up even higher.
exactly. It's not a circle, it's a spiral. So,
Oh, it's so good.
yeah, it is. And the other thing I put in there was a sentence about, once you accept that spiral path, things get easier. So
Yeah.
once you accept that you're going to come back around to the same old shit again, you're going to need to like keep like accept it. Just accept it. You know, then there's no resistance. It's like, okay, I'm here to make this. And there's curiosity and there's a level of levity that is gone, or that is there, that is present.
Yes, yes,
No,
yes, yes. That is when, yeah, that's so beautifully stated. That's when we get to go deeper, right? Is in that place of knowing that it's going to get easier. Not only does it get easier, it gets faster.
right.
Like the way that I, on a personal level, the way that I can heal and work through shit is like
So
snap
much
of the
faster
finger.
than it used to be. Yeah.
Yeah, and even when I'm with my clients in a class, like, I mean, within minutes, we are deep in a portal of, I don't even know what is, I don't even have words to describe what happens when I am together with other women now. It is unlike anything I've ever experienced before, but it happens fast. But that is life. Like, like we get to go into the depths and we get to rise up, and it's happening faster, 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 because that's what our soul wants. Our soul is like, come on, we got this one life. Like, let's get to it, kiddo. Come on. And so there, if you do feel a sense of urgency, this is where it can be a little tricky, because that urgency is there to like, hello, shake us by the shoulder and be like, girl, I need you to go do this work. You need to work through this so you can be on the other side of it, and so it is important that we kind of work with that energy of urgency per se, but at the same time, like, to be able to take the pressure off of discovering what it is, like, without being like, I gotta get there, I gotta get to this destination, but the destination, that is the journey, the destiny of that is the journey of becoming, so the urgency that you feel from your soul, that guidance of saying, do this, do that, go here, go there, is all trying to align you to your destiny.
Mhm.
And so there's not an end game. And I feel like, and I know I certainly did this for like probably the first 3 years of my journey of like, I gotta get there. I gotta get there. And it's like, no, now I fully comprehend that the there and the getting there is the journey of life. Like, cause there will always be a destination that we're headed towards. Our soul is always going to be guiding us to the next evolution of ourselves, the next expansion, the next experience, the next lesson, and so we're not going to get there. It's just the journey of life.
Mhm. Yeah. It's really about like dropping the resistance is what it is. It's like your soul is just trying to say like, let go of the resistance, let go of the
Yeah.
resistance,
And the pressure,
Yeah.
because I feel like we put so much pressure on ourselves to get there.
Yeah.
Where's
Where are we
where?
getting to?
Get there, get where? What the hell are you talking about?
Right.
Because I am speaking from personal experience. I was searching to get, probably I can say now, like where I am right now, like this version of myself, I knew that she existed, but I had there's no way this version of myself could have been available 3 years ago.
Right.
Right? Like, so I'm always just trying to get to the next version of myself that is really who I am right here, right now.
Exactly. It's like a
I know, like, plot
because
twist,
it's a
like, what?
spiral. because of the
Exactly.
spiral, because you're
Yeah.
there, but like we were saying earlier, everyone is at the same spot and yet we're not. It's like, because we're on these different levels of the spiral, but we're all like, if you drew a line, we're all next to each other in the same spot, just, different parts of the path. It's like,
It's so deep.
that's why the spiral is in every ancient culture. You see it in every single ancient culture because it is a deeply, deeply spiritual metaphor for
Yep.
so much.
Yep. And I was watching a reel by Robert Grant, he's like this, I love him. He's such a great spiritual teacher. But
Mhm.
he was saying how now there's evidence how the DNA helix
Yeah,
is literally, I mean, it is a spiral.
spiral.
The way that it is set up and the way the visual, like he was showing, like what you just showed, like in combination to the DNA helix of how it is a spiral. So
It's like
everything truly is a spiral.
it's encoded in us. It's the fabric of our entire experience is the spiral. It's so, so fucking cool. Like,
Yeah,
it's so
it
funny.
really is. It's so cool. It's so fun to to be in a place of just acceptance, because I feel like everything that is expanding within me right now, I'm not putting any pressure on myself to have it figured out or to know the answers. I'm just like, wow, okay, this is interesting, and I'm just literally along for the ride, and it's a fun ride. So I think moral of the story for this month is to, well, you summarize it. You're really good at stuff like that. I'll just mirror that back to you. How about that?
Ooh, now I'm put on the spot. Normally I do it when I'm like in the flow of it. I mean, I feel like if I had to take all of these three cards down, it really is the word acceptance. Like I'm piggybacking on that because I feel like it's true. With the magic mirror, there's this acceptance of the people that are in your life who are a mirror for you, an acceptance of where you are, an acceptance of what you desire to manifest and to bring into your life. And with the Chiron card, there's an acceptance that these are my wounds and this is my path to walk, and an acceptance that part of that path is to help other people along the way. And, an acceptance of the wisdom that you bring in through this Nautilus card, like an acceptance of where you are in this path, an acceptance that this is what it is, that I am on a continual journey of evolution. Like the evolution, I don't believe stops on this earth plane. It does not stop in this lifetime. Like we can't even fathom how far it goes or what's next or what's after this. But if you think you've reached a point where you're done evolving, then I don't think you have anything left to do here on earth. Like we are, that's what we're here to do. So accept that you are always going to be learning, always going to be growing, always going to be expanding. So I just feel like this whole September is just truly about acceptance on a really deep level.
And community, like we
Totally.
are, like all the things that you are learning about yourself and about the way that life works these days. Share it, start these conversations. If you notice someone is being that trigger for you, or you are being that mirror reflection or receiving that mirror reflection, have that conversation,
Mhm.
like bring it out to the open, like let's acknowledge it, let's talk about it, let's go there. And that could be a beautiful opportunity for you to not only heal deeper within, but to teach someone along the way, like what you're learning and how that person's teaching you something. Share that with them. And then that will open their mind too. So I feel like that could be very healing, like let's not keep our healing a secret. Let's keep sharing that and bringing forth conversations in community. And I just cannot stress community enough. Like for me, I've gotten, monthly classes here in my studio, and they have just gone beyond what I thought available and possible to me. And it's everything I've ever wanted that I didn't even know existed. But there was a part of my soul that was saying, do this, do, because my soul could see something ahead of me that I couldn't comprehend. And so when I started those monthly classes and then each month, I mean, they're just absolutely incredible. And the relationships and the depths of community that we are cultivating and creating is so activating for us all and so healing, and it's such a remembrance within. So I just really feel like we're all being called to offer this because you want it. We all want that. We all want more community.
Mhm. I feel it in my membership too. The calls that we do every month, the connections
Yeah.
that happen are mind-blowing, and it's wild how I have women in all different stages of life in this membership. I have women who never had children, women who are not married, women whose children are leaving the nest, women who like all different places and spaces. And we come together on these calls and it's like we're all going through the same
And
thing.
we're all the same.
So amazing and so deeply connecting to other people. So there are so many opportunities out there for you to plug into a community. It doesn't matter where you live. It is available to you. You just have to find it, you know?
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. It is there. And if it's not there, you
Make it.
can create it, create what you desire. So there's that as well.
Yeah.
Well, Dana, thank you for another incredibly fire, soul fueling, filling up our hearts and just this conversation with you. I know we all look forward to it every month. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for these beautiful cards that you have created to be able to support us each month. So blessings, blessings, blessings.